Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Anime Watch Club, a bi-weekly group discussion and review where the hosts of What You Say Anime podcasts nominate and vote on shows either we haven't seen or shows that hopefully lead to a great discussion. In today's episode, the B Sharps of the What You Say Anime podcast will be reviewing the 2023 anime film Blue Giant. Shall we jam? First up, he is sexy and he knows it. We got Kat. Kat, how's it going?
I liked it. You had two instruments you could play. You could pull from. We got one. I appreciate it.
Yes, hopefully you guys like puns because I got another one. Next up, his love for jazz isn't instrumental. We got Jay. Jay, how's it going?
That was an okay pun. I had to think about it. It was pretty okay. It wasn't the worst pun you've ever done.
Awesome. Our first moderator tonight. This movie really struck a chord with him. We have Miles.
Hi guys. I did like this movie. I'm excited to talk about it. We're top tier here. I'm gonna be bringing my A game. My brain is thinking quickly.
I can
Let's
tell.
go.
Yeah, you guys are killing it. And Pat.
Feel like I got hit by a truck.
You look like it too.
At least your left hand is working. Pete, I gotta say those. I was impressed to not see those musical puns go flat.
Thank you, man.
Very well done. Do you get it too? Because it's B sharp and C flat are the same note. I don't know if you knew that, and they also don't exist really technically. B sharp is really fun because it doesn't exist. I know that, and that's a good pun because my school band.
Why all the acapella groups are called B sharps?
Yeah. Okay. My school had a B sharp. Yeah, that is why it's that, and also because it's B sharp.
This is also, I think, the fourth time where I've reused intros before, and just nobody catches it. That was except for the puns. It was the same intro as Kids on the Slope.
Right, well, I wasn't here for that for one, and two.
You got to excuse
my intros are always the same. Yeah, so I'm used to it at this point.
Did you say Kids on the Slope struck a chord with me?
No, but like the intro, but like for Gundam last week, I did the same thing as we did for the Gundam movies that we did. I did the exact same intro, just nobody got it.
But wait, you know what? Let's get
Gundam was the exact same. This was yeah, forget it. Pat, take it away, my friend.
Never mind. Damn, I'm trying to think of a musical pun, but no, I don't have one right now. So yeah, let's just talk about the movie we watched. As Pete said earlier, we watched Blue Giant.
And it's probably a minor. There's one for you.
Kendrick references already. Let's go. They're just not like us. But yeah, so we watched Blue Giant, aired in February of 2023, done by Studio Nut, which is a very fun studio name, gotta say. Manga source, sign-in demographic, and yeah, there's no genre. There's only a theme on Mal, at least for us. So music, which there is a lot of music in this. So yeah, why don't we start with our first impressions like we usually do? Miles, why don't you take it away?
Yeah, I get this is like a movie. It's only 2 hours. I guess I'm just gonna give my general impressions as opposed to like first impressions. But I really enjoyed this movie. There was like a period of time relatively early in the movie where I wasn't sure if it would like resonate with me on any sort of like personal level because I'm not like we got some jazz people in our Discord and our audience share and stuff, and like I'm not a jazz person, like I'm not a super duper into music or anything, and like whoever made this was right, they love jazz. So I wondered if it like would like sort of miss me on that level, but ultimately I think it was just a very, very good story, and I had a great time. I think it's a movie I would recommend to like anyone who sort of basically anyone who isn't just like a shonen head, like anyone who wants to diverge anywhere into I would say this is a drama or like a musical drama, I guess, but I think it has a great cast. I think it has really done good musical pieces and the story's good. So I very much enjoyed it. Would recommend.
Yeah, no, I agree. I know I feel very similar to you where it's like I don't go out of my way to listen to jazz. I like it when music has like a jazz influence to it, but even as someone who played like a lot of jazz when they were playing an instrument, I liked playing it significantly more than I liked like listening to it or or consuming it, I guess. But I think the music in this is like they do jazz justice, which is pretty cool. But yeah, Kat, what about you?
First impressions, well, general impressions of it. I really loved the art style of it, and just the way that, I guess best way to put it is that I just really liked the general feel of the movie. It's hard to really go into it for me without getting really deep into spoilers personally. But this movie was just really, really fun to watch. It was honestly really gorgeous. So yeah, I would absolutely recommend this most to most anyone who does not genuinely have a distaste for jazz.
Fair enough. All right, Pete, what about you?
I love stories that are from like, chasing your dream, going to the big city to be a musician. Like I love that stuff. I eat it up. But it's really fun to me with Blue Giant where you have something like Skip and Loafer where the main character lives in like a town of like 4,000 people and she wants to move to Tokyo and like that makes sense. He's from Sendai, which is like 1,000,000+ people. It's just like he's like, oh, he's a country bumpkin. I'm like, what part of Sendai is a country bumpkin? So it's like, it was funny, like if you know some stuff about Japan, it's just like this dude is from like a giant metropolitan area.
I was telling you, my Japanese teacher is from Yokohama.
Oh, that's
which
right.
Is like a top, like I don't know, 10 most populous city in the world or whatever.
It's humongous.
And she was like, yeah, like Yokohama is, I forgot what the word is, but it's like it means countryside. And I was like, no, it's
they have a professional Japanese baseball team in Yokohama. Like it is not a small city. But it's like I was funny, just like this is what we're kind of getting into: chasing your dreams, going to the big city, wanting to be the star, wanting to be the best. And when those stories line up with me, I love that concept. And so, kind of like what Kat said, unless you like absolutely hate jazz, I would recommend this to like everybody. I thought this movie was phenomenal.
So it'd be like someone moved from Boston to New York.
Yeah, it's like, oh
yeah, like the guy is from a city that would be the second most populous city in New England.
Yeah.
Worcester
doesn't have 1 million people, and
it's Bridgeport.
No, it's Worcester, or it was 5 years ago. I don't know, but the point is, Sendai has more than whatever the city is.
That's pretty silly then.
Yeah, Sendai is bigger than Boston, for reference.
Okay, there we go.
By
like the metro or just
the city? Yeah, Sendai is a huge city. It's not a small city.
Yeah, I guess the reason I asked metro is like because like if it's like Tokyo, it gets massive with metro, but Boston's like that too, where it's like the city itself doesn't have a huge, but like then the surrounding boroughs, essentially boroughs, make it the population or a big city.
Yep.
But yeah, either way. All right, Jay, what about you?
Yeah. First off, while that's fresh in my mind, maybe it's like to compare it to Boston, maybe it's like he lived in Boston and he wanted to move somewhere that had like culture. Yeah, take that, New England, throwing shots at as soon as I left. There you go. But yeah, I will third what Kat said, that this is definitely a movie I would pretty much recommend to anybody unless you have like a weird distaste for jazz. And honestly, if you have a distaste for jazz, unless like a jazz man killed your entire family, grow up. Like honestly, it's time to grow up if you have a distaste for jazz at your big age. Yeah, sorry. I just had to say that. But I think that it's got something for everybody, even if you don't like, obviously the music aspect of it is huge, but I think that if you're somebody who just likes well put together cast of characters with like dynamics that are working alongside each other, then that's something you can find and enjoy in this with the trio. I think that the animation is beautiful, and I think that even if you're somebody who maybe you don't like jazz much, you can appreciate the sort of like craftsmanship of the sound design as well as like the general like OST, because it is pretty intricate. Yeah, so like Kat said, unless you're somebody who doesn't like jazz, then I think that you would definitely enjoy this. And if you don't like jazz, like I said, fix that. That's a skill issue.
But just to be clear, if a jazz man did kill my family, I am allowed to hate this movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, no. Honestly, you should probably get over that too.
What the
fuck? What if the director of this movie killed my family?
No,
we're like separating the art from the artist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
with Blue Giant, we separate the art from the artist.
The guy killed my family, but honestly, really good movie.
Yeah, like it's kind of like how I feel about like you know what, I won't go into it. I
Yeah,
don't wanna
good call,
defame
good,
anybody.
good save.
You know,
Say it's Jay's turn to be the psychopath on this.
hey, not being a psychopath. I was going to imply that a famous director killed my family.
Well, just the stuff you said before that, was a little
about need to get over jazz or get over your hatred of
Gotta
jazz.
get over
Did you feel
jazz.
attacked?
No, I do. My family. Never mind. I will fourth at this point. Cat's point of like, yeah, unless you dislike jazz or whatever, or if Jazz Man came and killed your family, then yeah, you should watch this movie. I highly recommend it to anybody. Also, it's a movie. Suck it up. It's 2 hours. Like not even just under 2 hours. It's like 5 minutes of credits too. So like really, it's not even a 2-hour movie. Like you give it a shot. Give it a try. It's really fun. I also very much enjoyed the movie on like a more personal note. It was very good. I think that I will have complaints, but that the complaints are not stuff that like will affect my score very much, if that makes sense. Like they're just things that I am confused or decisions that they made that confused me. I guess like not to dance around it, but like certain parts of the animation might turn people off from it. But those are the very low valleys when most of the movie were very high peaks with the animation as well. So it's like I wouldn't let that dissuade you from watching if you've seen clips and have been like, what the hell is that? Because there's so many other great, for every bad scene, there's like 4 good ones. So, but yeah, I guess that's our opening thoughts or general impressions of the movie. 5 recommends. Hopefully there's no murderous jazz people out there. And yeah, let's get right into our talking points. I think, Miles, you had one to start us off.
Sure.
Jordan flu game. Let's go for the 5th time,
Yeah.
Miles.
5th time. Give him
15th
come on
time,
now.
my bad.
It's only been 5 years.
Okay, so I think let's talk about. This is a topic that Pete wanted to talk about, but I actually think it's like a pretty good talking point. So I'm just gonna give the foundation for the characters. We have 3 characters, and they form a jazz band together. And as we learn, jazz bands are where backstabbing happens. As is a major talking point in this movie. But we have Dai, who is a new-ish saxophonist who moves to the big city in order to pursue his dream of playing in a jazz band. He teams up with Yukinori, who is a pianist, who is sort of an established jazz musician, but is maybe needing some sort of spark or something, as you find out later, maybe in a teeny bit of a rut. And then you follow Shunji, who is having a good time along for the ride. He sort of seemed like he was just looking for an area where people were passionate about what they were doing, and decided to like learn the drums, and he has some like good character growth and stuff there. So we follow their journey from starting out as a jazz group to them playing at Big Blue, which is, I guess, one of the premier, if not the premier jazz club in Tokyo. So Blue. Thank you. And that is what we sort of see happen. These characters have sort of 3 distinct arcs. I think they're very good characters. What were your thoughts on the characters? Who was your favorite character? I'm assuming we're going to be mostly positive on their interactions and stuff. So what did you like about them? If there was anything you didn't, let me know in your section or whatever. But yeah, let's start off with Pete. This was your question, so let's hear what you got to say.
Yeah, I think you summed it up really well. With Shunji, there's a couple things with him. I did like the idea of like him playing soccer at like a collegiate level with his club, where their club was more doing it for like exercise. You learned that he was more of an elite. At least he was on an elite team. They said he was top 8 in the country. So I'm assuming it's like very competitive, and that's kind of why he was resonating with Dai so much, because Dai wants to be the best in the world. He wants to be the best saxophone player in the world. He likes that about Dai. I think that's why he lets him stay with him all the time. And then maybe like how he learned that he liked the drums was a little whatever, but you know what? Everybody finds their inspiration through various means. So like I thought that was cool. one thing that I really liked about his character was the interaction with the old man who kind of saw him grow from the bottom up, where they came out of the club and there's like, there's 10 people on Yuki, there was like 6 people on Dai, and then there's one person on him. But it's that one person who's stuck with him the whole time. And so that kind of got me thinking, like, would you rather have like 10 semi fans or one diehard if you were like a musician? And I thought that was a really cool contrast with him. Yuki, where his character comes from being in a piano family his whole life. He's been playing since he was 4. Maybe not naturally gifted, but like through hard work and dedication, he's become a very good pianist. And then someone like Dai, who fell in love hearing the saxophone, wanted to dive into it, wanted to be the best in the world. And you see his talent through what he puts in 3 years of practice. And people already know around him, it's like, you've been doing this for 3 years, like, you're legit. Like, this dude, like, you might not have it now, but you have what it takes to be the best. So with these 3 different sort of takes of characters blending into one band, I thought it was like perfect. Like, I really enjoyed like that type of chemistry, that type of bonding of coming together and doing it. But my favorite character through and through is Dai. I loved his drive. I loved his mentality of him, even if he wasn't the best, just the idea in his head of being the best. And there was a line specifically after Yuki gets sort of chewed out by Tyler, where he's like, you're lazy, like, you're not doing anything innovative. You're essentially like a robot piano playing jazz music. Like, you're not doing anything that like makes you who you are. And Yuki goes into like a very severe like depression. He gets in a slump, and Dai's just like, are you going to take those words at face value and let that affect you? Or are you going to change the person who you are now and be better? He's like, I'm going to be the best. If Tyler tells me I suck, I'm still going to be the best. That's what my drive is. So you can do one of 2 things, essentially. You can sit and soak, or you can try to be better than who you are now. And stuff like that with Dai, like, really resonated with me with the character Sarasa Watanabe from Kageki Shoujo, where people always told her dream was to be Lady Oscar, and everyone's like, you can't be Lady Oscar, you're never gonna be Lady Oscar. And she's like, I'm gonna be Lady Oscar. Like, I don't care what you say. And that's what I resonate with Dai. Like, Dai is just, his passion is like, I'm going to be the best. Like, even if I'm not the best, I'm gonna drive to be the best. And that's what matters to me. And that's why I love in characters just in general. Like, my favorite characters have that drive, and Dai had that drive. I thought he was a phenomenal like main character, the focal point of the band. Side note, is it like required if you're a saxophone player when you are playing to look like you are having sex with your saxophone? Because every time I see a saxophone player, they're just like, I just feel like they're just like, oh yeah. It's just like, dude, Dai
specifically, it's even more of a requirement with tenor sax.
Okay, I was like,
there's a reason.
You see the curve on that baby?
Yeah. There's a reason there's a curve on the hook up top.
Yeah. So I mean, he was
Careless Whisper, the sexy.
That's what I was thinking the whole time.
Yeah.
I was just like, dude, Dai is fucking that thing up. Loved it. Honestly, 10 out of 10 cast. Loved him. Dai was an amazing focal point. Oh man, this movie is just so good with like their character interactions and everything. So those are my 2 cents on the characters.
Great, thank you for those 2 cents. Now let's get Kat's nickel. Kat, you're up.
Fuck you. Okay. Oh, sorry. I thought you said pity. I thought you said pity for a second.
You know what? You got nothing.
Yeah. Thanks, Kat.
Anyway, so for me, Pete summarized a lot of these characters really well, in my opinion. But for me, it's not Dai who's my favorite character. It's actually Shunji. It's partially because I am a drummer. I've been playing drums since I was like 3. So like I've been playing drums for such a long time, and a lot of these slumps that Shunji got into, from starting at a point where he was below everybody else who was playing with, to like trying to learn how to get into grooves, and then watching him go and try so hard while it seems like everybody else is like breathing their instruments. It's such a mountain to climb, and having the drive to push through it just resonates so well with me. It's so much fun to watch him. And from his specific arc, like, we watched him go through just wall after wall after wall just to see him just keep going, not because he wants to be the best, but because he wants to play with his friends. Also, I just love how Shunji's treated is so close to the way that drummers are typically treated in a band. They are the last person to hear any type of news ever. It's fucking stupid and annoying, but it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna
What about
what,
bassists?
bassist here.
People tell
Bass.
bassists things, or do
Oh yeah,
bassists just like get to hear things because no one notices that they're there?
no bassists. So bassists are the types of people that in a good band, they realize how needed he is. The drummer is
Yeah,
the guy
when
that's just
people need
like
to move the equipment, that's when you
exactly,
need the bassist.
exactly. The drummer and the bassist are best friends, but the bassist hears the things that they need to hear because they're closer to the singer. Anyway,
Their ears
yeah,
aren't fucked up by the drums constantly being in
bro,
their ear too.
it's tough. You always got to wear ear protection. Wear ear protection when you're playing drums. Anyway, I love Shunji. He's my favorite character. I I just this movie is such a great movie.
Great. And Jay, what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I wanted to kind of talk about like the different character arcs that the three of them go through because I thought it was really interesting the sort of juxtaposition and the three levels of like investment we sort of have between the three characters. Like obviously, like Dai is sort of like medium tier. Like he's very invested, but in terms of like time overall at the point in the story we're at, he's like medium invested. Obviously, he's only been doing it since like high school, from what I understand. Yukinori is obviously super invested, like been doing it his whole life, like his family. You know, his mom was a teacher that he even like talks to her a bit during it whenever he's teaching the drums. And then we have Jesus, I'm blanking on
Shunji.
names. Shunji,
Shinji.
thank you. And then we have Shunji who like he's brand new, but he has like that raw passion that keeps him going. And I think that his was honestly, even as someone who isn't completely new to music, I think that his was the one that kind of spoke to me the most. That sort of like feeling like you're not as raw and talented as other people without kind of self-centered in a way because he doesn't realize like how much effort Dai and like his group just in general puts into their talent, that it's not just like, hey, they woke up one day and were suddenly good at their instrument. And you can sort of see that develop over the movie, how like he starts really working hard and kind of like focusing less on how they're doing and instead trying to be the best musician that he can be, which is a really interesting character arc in my opinion because like I don't know, he just at the start he just is sort of a filler character in a way where like he's just there to hold the beat and he evolves into a really interesting character, especially with like the old man that Pete mentioned, as well as like his bandmates as well. So I guess I don't know. Shunji was probably my favorite overall character, but I was curious out of the three, in you guys' opinions, which character arc stood out the most to you and who you would say is your favorite overall? Obviously, I know Pete said that he loved Dai because of the Sarasa connection, and I understand that.
Yeah, and Kat like Shunji because of like the drummer connection he
Yeah,
has.
yeah. Makes sense.
Yukinori is my favorite character. So I think it's pretty interesting that we basically have at least one person with all of the different cast as their favorite character, which is a good sign. Not necessarily with music, because like, but even music a little bit. Like, obviously not at his level, but I remember in like seventh grade, I had to do a saxophone solo, and like it, I like rehearsed it beforehand, which is not in the spirit of doing it. But like for most of my life, like creativity is something that I struggle with, right? It's I'm pretty good at like anything like mechanical that you can learn, ordered, sort of thing. That's why I'm a scientist. But as soon as you need to invent and sort of go off script, I freeze up a lot. And so him having this thing where he's like very talented in like the technical aspect of things, but sort of needed to learn how to go off script, be creative, use his experience in order to like form what he was making really sort of resonated with me because that's like a personal growth area that I've also gone through and I relate to pretty hard. So that's why I liked him the most. It just sort of resonated with me, in learning how to be creative, which is something that I've always struggled with. So
I don't know if I necessarily resonated with a specific character myself, the others, but like everyone else has already kind of touched on so far, all three of these characters are very well written in terms of having very clearly outlined goals, or at least evolving into having those goals. I mean, I guess spoiler here, but like at the very end of the movie, they kind of start to show that like, oh, Dai is continuing to climb the circuit. He's or whatever you'd want to call the jazz empire pyramid, whatever. Yukinori is clearly writing music for him. Don't don't really remember what they had Shunji or Tamada doing specifically. Um,
we see him in a flash forward in the middle of the movie. It looks like he is doing. He's successful in some business, but he's no longer playing.
doing jazz, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what. All
He-
right, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
he talks about it being like something he gets to brag about to his business partners that he played with the great Dai Miyamoto.
That's
So we
right.
know that Dai is just going to be like he's going to be a goat conversation at least.
Yeah, and it was like the best 18 months of his life.
Pretty cool. But yeah, so like I like the end, like tying it all together and making it make sense because they did hint at Yukinori writing music earlier on in his like in the movie they showed it, and yeah, it comes full circle for everybody.
Shout out to the bar lady though.
Yeah,
yeah.
underrated
Good,
character.
good supporting characters in the show too. I mean,
Honestly,
we
yeah.
spent time talking about the main characters, but like I the bar lady Akiko, I believe her name is, was very supportive of all of them. And I really liked what was like the hard ass's name who worked at So Blue?
Tyler.
Yeah.
Tyler. Okay. Um, well, I liked how he sort of, I think he was necessarily hard on Yukinori, but then also gave him that chance. And I thought that was like a really cool thing to see, sort of due to the impromptu conversation he had with Dai when Dai didn't even know who he was talking to. You know, that was like a really cool scene to see where they played with that famous jazz band that was like, I think probably from the States or wherever. And
I
like
know the
seeing,
main one was from the States, yeah.
yeah, and seeing them like give him like an extended piano solo and stuff. I guess the thing that I would like to talk about now too is like during the jazz songs, how did you like this presentation? Because I loved it. When people were doing the solos and you were getting flashbacks through their struggles with life, how they ended up here and everything. I thought that was a great way to show the emotion that went into these moments. It really resonated with me. I thought it was great. I'm assuming, people liked it, but, did that stick out to you when you saw it? Is there anything else, that I might be missing here? Pete, what do we got?
So it would be interesting to see. I think there's like two really big performances. I'd be intrigued to see which one of the two you guys like the most. I personally like the Jazz Festival one the best, but how it's portrayed, if you've ever seen, I think we've all seen Aizoken, which is how creative the performance was, where it felt like you were seeing the notes, you were seeing the sound, and they like visualized the music. And that's something that, like, for as much as I love like Kids on the Slope, it didn't like wasn't supposed to be visualizing the music. Like I feel like in this I was like supposed to be lost in their performance. And I thought it was like incredible what they were doing with the camera work, the animations, the changing of the scenes to, it seems like a little bit like you're taking LSD to the crowd reaction of hearing the music for the first time. It was just like mixing all of that together into a performance gets me into the moment. And I was glued. I literally was like out loud saying like, oh fuck yeah, like oh shit yeah. I'm like, I don't know shit about jazz, but I'll tell you one thing. What I was hearing, I liked it a lot. So I thought the performance was like, I thought they were both like the two big ones were both like 10 out of 10. I just liked how they like changed the jazz performance at the festival, because that was like their first like big break. And just seeing that's like, yes, fuck yeah, let's go. I thought it was incredible. So good.
Yeah, I really liked both of the performances. Pete kind of mentioned like the two main ones. I think the very first performance too, when they're in the relatively empty bar. I think that scene is probably will fly under the radar just because of when it happens in the movie. But I thought that was a really nice way for them to introduce how they were going to tell stories through the songs. Like they kind of started out with fewer flashbacks, I guess, or more focus on them actually playing the instruments, and you could see them starting to feel each other out as a band and get a feel for what performing together live would be like, which I thought was pretty cool too. I think the performances overall were really good. The music, especially, was just awesome. Like really, really nice jazz music, which also, with only 3 people in the band, like a what do you call it? A drummer, a saxophonist, and a pianist. I mean, that's not uncommon, but usually there's like a horn in there somewhere or something else, another stringed instrument is in there somewhere. And they did a really, really good job making the songs interesting without having those extra components, I think. So, I thought they did a really good job there. I will say though, the the flashbacks were really cool, but I kept getting distracted from them by the rotoscoping and the animation. It was like my eyes were just getting sucked away from what I wanted to be looking at to see like just horrible 3D renders of these characters that which again which frustrated me because there were times that they were 3D rendered that they didn't look like complete shit at multiple times in the movie. And but then just randomly there would be like just insane drop-offs in the quality of that of their look. So yeah, again, I didn't want to completely derail into the animation like argument or discussion quite yet because I know Kat had something else to say too about this, but like that was like my one knock on the performances, I guess that interrupted me a bit.
So for me personally, like I liked a lot of the performances. I liked pretty much all of the performances, but the last performance, the one at the very end where well, the one before the very end, the one before the encore, where it's just the saxophonist and the drummer. I loved that performance so much because you could even through the music, you could tell the emotion was there. Like taking away from like looking away from the animation, like I looked back without the actual animation going, and it just felt so much more impactful. Like just the from the differences of the way that Dai was playing his saxophone at the point at that point where instead of just being this bombastic saxophone like most of the time, it built up to it. It was very almost kind of like by the numbers with a little bit of like heartache in the middle of it to where it actually gets to a point where he's blowing so much air into it that it's actually squeaking a bit, and it's just such a good performance, and it actually got me close to tears from it because it was so good. Like the animation, I didn't get much of the issue that Pat was talking about, but then again, I was just so sucked into the performance that it couldn't draw me away from it, honestly. So yeah, the performances were amazing, and that second to last performance was my favorite.
I guess for the sake of chipping in, my favorite performance was the first So Blue performance that they did. I thought that was just absolutely killer. I don't know. I thought like I agree that sometimes the rotoscoping would take me out, but then also sometimes the backgrounds for them like flying through fucking space and like a supernova happening or
Mhm.
whatever. And so, you know, that sort of caught my attention most of the
Right.
time.
Well, that's the thing. Like that's why it's like those things are so good, and they clearly spent a lot of time on that. Why?
Yeah, I think
Why
I
is
don't
it
it must
so?
just be impossibly hard to, like, animate people playing instruments because I've just never seen it done well, and everyone does that rotoscoping thing. Like, that's the only thing that I can think of because we've watched a lot of shows where people do musical performances, and they're like always done like that.
Yeah.
You know,
I like
so
my I guess my thought would just be like, I don't know, like they do it in movies all the time, like live action movies where other than the very specific cuts where they're actually showing like the fingers moving, they very intentionally like leave them out of frame so that way
yeah,
I guess pricks like me don't sit there and go, they're not even playing the notes that are being played, being shown as them playing or whatever. But like, I don't know, when you have like the complete control, even more control than you do in a live action in an animated setting, I like again, I guess like it must be that expensive or difficult that you wouldn't want to do it. But that's why. But there were times where it was done well, and that's why it was just like they're literally multiple times in the performances they just like they're standing maybe not standing like this but it almost looks like they go and
yeah.
like rotate and it's like and then there's other times where they're flying through the air or they're like
I would
kicking
guess
back.
it's just like they want X amount of time of music, that amount of time of well animated people performing is not feasible. Ergo, we get this for the trade off of having like these long performances. You
Keep in
know,
mind, this is sorry to interrupt.
yeah.
I
Go
know I
ahead.
shouldn't do that, but keep in mind this is also an adaptation of a stationary medium. Like they have to add on. Oh, there's a lot of guesswork that goes into animating a manga that's meant to be representing fluid motion on a page. Like I don't know, like with a live action and stuff like that, a lot of the time they're not adapting anything. And I would also say that for a live action, I've never seen a live action that had performances that made me feel anything like this. I don't like that's not if it was something that wasn't like a musical or something, which I wouldn't count this in the same layer as like a musical or something, even though it is a music thing. Like I've, like watching like Jamie Foxx play like Ray Charles or something like that. Like Jamie Foxx can actually play the piano, and I don't know, it didn't do anything for me like this. And I love the music of Ray Charles. It's that same sort of thing. Like I don't know, like I think that while it could have been animated better, yes. I don't think that the intention of that, like, I understand that it's animation, obviously, yes. But I don't think that the intention of those scenes is necessarily for you to be focusing on the animation. I think that they're kind of handing it over to, Hiromi, the soundtrack composer at that point, and being like, all right, it's your turn. Like, we did animation for, 7/10 of the movie. This is your 3/10. Like, the jazz heads are going to be having their eyes closed or not looking at the screen, dancing, clapping, that sort of thing. Like, I'm not trying to give like excuses here, but I guess I kind of am. I don't know.
I guess a counterpoint, have you seen Whiplash,
No.
a literal movie about jazz? That I would be curious to hear what you think about the jazz performances in that movie because that's like one of my favorite movies ever too.
I mean, isn't that also like the best movie of its year and shit like that? Like
It's up there.
how
Yeah.
many other performance movies came out, like music performance movies came out in that year and were just like nobody remembers them at all. You can't tell me because you forgot about them.
Yeah, well, no, so I guess that's my so then is that not a valid criticism then though of it, right? Then
It for sure
why
is.
couldn't it be Whiplash if it wasn't
Yeah.
I
like
mean,
again, so in budget
I can't really say anything about Whiplash because I haven't seen it, obviously. But I don't know, man. Like they are trying to do two different things, I guess. Like
Yeah, I don't. The big thing for me is I have never seen this done well. I've never seen anything.
yeah, and again, like
Yeah,
animation versus live action, like
which makes me
a completely different beast, obviously.
It's funny because like the thing that it's not even like the performance that threw me off with like the weird animation. It's when they're like coming out of like they're like so blue and they're like walking up to the stage and like
yeah.
everybody is 2G drawn except for them. They're CG. It's just like that's what threw me off. Where it's like they're just walking to the stage. It's like why am I getting Aizoken performances and then I'm getting girl band cry like walk up to the stage? That's like that's what threw me off. I was like, This is like they're walking up there for the first time. Yeah, it's like they're walking up there for the first time. This is like an epic thing for them, and it's like, oh, they look like clay people. It's like, what the fuck?
And it cuts in and out. It's not like, oh, so I guess like a good example, I think, in Zombieland Saga, they're not rotoscope, they're not 3D until literally they start performing, and then they're rotoscope pretty much the whole time, other than like close-up face shots, and then they're right back out of it. This show like Whiplash whiplashes you back and forth between it, not only during the performances, but yeah, like you said too, like I did notice that, and I was just kind of like, wait, like why? You know, I guess budget or whatever, but like at the same time, like
I don't even know if it's a budget thing. Because like,
or is it?
Because when I was thinking about like, okay, so like TV series, like they're making episode 4, it's due next week. Like I get why they would like CG something in. Like they have like a week to do this. This one has like more time, especially when they're in the scene with 2D and CG characters in the same scene. That's what's confusing. That one to me is like, did they just like outsource something real quick? And then
my thought is like, you've seen Isoken, right? You've brought this up a few times, and like, how much of Isoken is like people learning? Literally, you cannot make this perfect. Where do you need to cut corners?
Oh, 100%.
Can we? Yeah,
it's the same thing with when you watch Shirobako. That's kind of like my point, where it's like there are but this is like that's like in the sense of a series, where in movies they are allocated much more time than a TV series. So that's like I don't even think it's like it doesn't lower my score. I'm just like confused by the direction choice of that.
I think honestly though, like,
but they walk all the time.
Like past a certain point, aren't we just going to be confused about this in general because we're all lay people when it comes to animation? Like, we know when something looks good or bad. Yeah, but like at the end of the day, apart from maybe watching like Shirobako or that one episode of Golden Boy,
we're all
that
experts
new anime
now.
That's coming out. Like, what do we know about animation?
Well, it's one of those things
we don't
where
know
it's
how
like,
much this costs. We don't know what's more expensive.
Well, we can. It's one of those things where it's like either music sounds good to you or it doesn't. You don't have to be it's the same with being like a chef. You have to be a chef to know how to make good food, but you don't need to be a chef to know that food tastes good.
And I said that we know how to tell if something looks good or bad or not. But like we're asking all sorts of questions about it that we don't actually know how to answer. Like we can ponder them, but
I mean, we can ponder. Know. That's the whole point.
I don't know. It's just
I just think it's not even like an animation thing. For me, this is like a directorial choice. Like I'm questioning the directorial choice of using that scene the way that they did. I think it's interesting because that's something I don't know if, speaking of Miles, like not seeing anything good or whatever, this is something like I don't know if I've seen in like anime in general where they have a widescreen thing like that. And then normally it's the background characters that are CG. And then the main characters are drawn well. This was the exact opposite. And I'm more like, I want to know why they did that. More than anything, and like that's what threw me for a loop. It's just odd. It just like it doesn't set the tone of the scene. Like it legit pulled me away from when they're So Blue entrance. This is the moment they've been waiting for. They're walking up into So Blue. This is they even references. This is the Tokyo Dome for idols. Like this is the biggest moment, and then they look like clay people, and it scratches my head.
Your boy, this is the guy who directed all of Mob Psycho.
He's a fantastic director. That doesn't change the choice that he did.
I mean, I would guess it was just a time thing or something.
It must be,
yeah.
It's just weird, though.
Flip Flappers episode 6, man. Show some respect.
Yikes.
Whoa, let's not disrespect Flip Flappers.
I'm sorry. I was thinking of Handshakers. My apologies.
Okay.
Honestly, I was too, and that's why I brought it up. My fault.
Oh, okay.
my fault.
I was like, hey, now.
Well, then
all three of our arms are broken.
That's right.
That's the funniest fucking thing.
So our score for this movie is lower than Handshakers, then, right?
100%. Yeah.
I don't know if that's possible. I think we legit might get canceled if that's the case.
I think my score alone would keep it from being lower.
Hey, I gave Handshakers a 5.
You should. Oh my.
That one joke worth 5 points.
Incest, loved it.
I did. I talked about how I liked it. It was refreshing that the people were just like, fuck it, we love each other. And everyone was just like, Sure.
Okay, yeah.
I was just like, you know what? That's refreshing.
Check
in an
out our
anime.
review on Handshakers.
Please
Yeah.
don't. It was a long time
Watch-
It
ago.
was a long time
It
ago.
Sugar
was
Life.
it was a
Nice.
hilarious thing.
Watch that show that I really cannot recommend more that you've recommended to other people even. Say. Yeah. All right. Well, I feel like we have like one more talking point that we want to talk about too. That's more positive too, because like that was my main gripe with the movie. I like it. Other than the animation, I feel like the movie it flows well. There's no real lulls for me where I'm kind of like, all right, let's keep it moving here. What's going on here?
Okay.
I guess. Okay.
I've got
I
one
just
thing.
thought
I
of
also have one
one.
thing.
Actually, I just thought of one while I was talking. I guess since I'm talking already, I'll start because it's a minor, not minor, but it's a small thing. What's it? Yukinori should never survive that accident, right? Like,
Oh,
what the
no,
fuck is
absolutely
that?
not.
It's
Like,
a tiny
yeah.
Japanese truck.
no, yeah,
no, that
okay,
was a big
tiny
truck.
Japanese.
That was a box truck.
It was an
Bro,
18-wheeler, Jay.
That shit's made
Yeah.
of fucking aluminum.
It's
So,
made out
yeah.
of ink on a paper, technically. So maybe that's why it didn't kill him, right? Because like,
It only fucked up his arm. Nah, bitch, you dead.
He
He
did
got
a
fucking
Twilight. He
railed.
did a Twilight. He put his hand out and stopped it.
It's not it. Yeah. Well, I was legitimately
Fucked up by it.
I was watching this movie and I'm like, oh, do I want to give this an 8 or a 9? I'm thinking about it.
I
And like,
literally said he better not get hit by a car. Literally
I said that he gets hit by the car, and when he got hit by the car, I was like, he's dead. And I was like, I guess I'm giving this a 6. Like, and then like I was really mad for a period of time, and then we find out that like the crash was maybe dramatized for the documentary or whatever, because he's mostly okay. Like he'll be able to play piano again. He went and he played piano like the next day. But for like a little bit there, I was like, what a stupid writing decision. I was so mad. And then I wasn't, because it was just like sort of overdone. But like there was a period of time there where I was mad.
I guess the point of that scene was for the three main characters to face some sort of adversity right before the final climax. Because like obviously their biggest adversity that they face as a group, especially, is when
sucked.
Well, the drummer sucks. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
But it's Yukinori getting told that he sucks or isn't good or isn't interesting, right? Like that. Because other than that, like they don't really go. Obviously, we see them like go through hardship, as in like trials, tribulations, grinding it out, getting big. But like like the basic storytelling thing of a movie is like, oh, a big something interesting happens at the beginning, bit of a dip, and then it slowly rises to the climax, and then there's the climax, like, or there's like a trial right before the climax, and like that's what that almost felt like to me, because like why else put that in? Like it didn't. I don't know. I didn't feel like it changed much of Yukinori's growth as a character to me, other than like because he had already overcome the I'm struggling to be creative. I'm struggling to, or they had implied it, I guess, because they got the role or they got the show at Blue Japan, whatever
So
it's
Blue.
So
called.
blue.
So Blue. Thank you. Like they had already overcome all that adversity, and it just felt like let's throw it in there, kind of thing. I don't know.
I think they kind of condensed a lot of and I can't really say, but from what I've seen, people have said this is kind of a condensed version of this arc. So I think that there's like a few shows of them slumming it out that aren't like included because they're not like super compelling performances or whatever. And it's probably again like sort of like a time/budget sort of concern for that, I imagine. But I can't really say because I haven't read the manga. But people have told me that it's a pretty dense work, specifically this arc in particular, which is actually the second arc of the manga. Yeah, so I think they're kind of we're leaning more into the biopic feel of it a bit, and in biopics a lot of the time, like I would say, like as someone who watched Elvis like 5 times because I found that shit hilarious. Like, there's not a lot of tragedy a lot of the time until like one big tragic moment that they have to overcome, and I feel like the Yukinori stuff was a big.
That
part
is
of
how
that.
biopics kind of go. It's like it was all going good, until like
Yeah.
yeah.
Like for
It's
Elvis, it's when he dies, basically.
Yeah, it was all going good for Elvis until he did like too many drugs.
Fool's gold globes.
But the piggyback off of Pat, kind of, that was also going to be my question as well, where I was thoroughly enjoying this movie, and this is one of the rare instances where I was like, oh no, they're forcing, this is so bad. And then by the end of it, like Miles, I was like, oh, that all made sense. That was great. I gotta give credit. I was like, no. And I was like, yes. So props to Blue Giant for throwing me a curveball there. That was really fun.
I would also like to say that I did a little bit of reading ahead, and Yukinori, we have not seen the last of him, is what I will say. He makes his own mark, from what I understand.
Cool.
Whether or not he has two arms or not, I actually don't know. I didn't look into it. But
For me, I think it was more about like, this is going to be like, I guess, a sort of morbid way of looking at this, but like this really gave them a spark to really crush their performance, right? Because like JASS is about like internal struggle and like sadness and everything, and so they really got that right in time.
that was incredible timing on
And,
Miles' part. Wow.
and that's where we're at. You know,
Who says
a
you can
little,
have reflexes?
yeah, we'll be okay, probably. So yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know. Ultimately it like worked out. It was much less of a speed bump than it looked like it was supposed to be at the very start of him getting plowed by a car, like he was the main character of fucking Zombieland. So, any more topics before we get to our final thoughts and scores?
I guess not.
Yeah. Great. I mean, you know, it's a movie. Nice.
I would just say, if you're ever in Japan, go to a jazz bar. They're really fun. They're one of my best experiences in Japan was going to a jazz bar. It was just, it was literally like the ambiance of the first bar that they go to. It's like, it seats 20 people. Everyone's just like chill, drinking and listening to music. It was a lot of fun when I went, and I thought they captured that. Oh, except for, I guess the first bar had like 0 people there, but picture that, but with like 10 people. It's a good time.
There you go. All right. Miles, why don't you start us off and give us your final score as well?
Yeah, I really like this movie. I really like the So Blue performance. I'm a big sax fan. Played it for a few years. It's cool. So always shout. I played alto though.
Sucks to suck.
And yeah, fuck you guys.
Cat knows.
So, but I don't know. I had a really good time. I think this is a really, really nice, well-made movie. I'm a little surprised that this is like within the scope of something else, because it really feels like pretty open and shut. So good job by whoever adapted this, making this feel like its own standalone thing. It didn't just feel like an arc of a manga to me. It sort of felt like the entire thing got adapted. So I guess it's exciting to know that there's more if you're looking for that. But for me, this was just a great standalone story. I'm gonna give this a 9. I really liked it.
9. All right. Kat, what about you?
Yeah, I love this show. This movie, that was great. From the beginning to end, it was just a great ride. This is honestly probably this may be one of in my top 3 movies, anime movies that I've seen. Maybe my top 5 movies that I've seen, period. It's just been I'm going to recommend this to a lot of people, especially since it's on Netflix. But yeah, final remarks. I do want to say I wanted to see more about Kiko's like backstory, because seeing the picture in a bar,
cool.
I wanted to know because she obviously sang
once.
Yeah,
I want to see her. I want one performance at the end with her performing with them or something. I think that would have been chef's kiss.
I legit thought that either Yukinori's mom was going to play with them, or she was going to sing to give them a little bit more of a boost. But either way, it ended great. I loved the show, and that's why I'm giving it a 10. It's a fucking masterpiece for me.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
Right.
I'm a little surprised Kat wasn't like, 7.
7.
Because he always like,
me, bro.
dude, all the time you're like, I forget which, it was some show we watched recently, and it was like the biggest roller coaster I've been on. You'd been like, I did talk about how this show sucks the
Wasn't
entire
that
time. but
Mob
actually,
Psycho when he had a
yeah,
stroke?
no, it wasn't that. That
No,
wasn't a
that
roller
wasn't that.
coaster. That was me
Okay.
waiting in line for a roller coaster.
I was waiting in line for a roller coaster and somebody has a stroke in front of me.
Yeah. There was
Great,
one
now the
that was
ride's
like,
closed.
no, it was the Gundam one. He was like, sure, I've been negative, but actually, like, I think this was pretty good. But and then he gave it like a 7 or something. It was like, yeah, I hated it, but I thought it was really good. Middle score. It's like, okay, we just whoa.
We're having fun. That's all I want
Yeah,
to
we're
say.
having fun. Yeah, absolutely. Okay,
It's
who's
fun to
next?
have. Yeah, that's I think Pete, what about you?
Final remarks. When I was looking at was gonna give the score and like where I would rank it in my top movies from like the 2020s and going forward, I was like, this has got to be like one of the top 2 or 3 movies from 2020 and beyond. Like, but then I realized how fucking spoiled we are with anime movies. We have so many good anime movies that have came out in the last like 4 years. We had Review Starlight, JJK Zero, Made in Abyss, 3.0 plus 1.0, Violet Evergarden, Mugen Train, Laid Back Camp, Suzume. Like, we are so spoiled as anime fans that we just have really high quality
Infinity
movies.
Train.
No, it's Mugen Train. I was asking for a specific answer. Call back to our trivia episode. But yeah, I mean, this just adds to the list of just incredible movies that we've gotten. I love the cast. The music was great. My complaints were minor. I'm putting this as my number 89 anime of all time. I loved it. It's like a super high 9. I'm gonna give it a 9.
I like your list because I know what things score when you tell me where they are in
Yeah.
it, and I can enter the number
Boop.
like 1 second before you
Boop.
tell me.
Yep.
And a little efficiency.
There you go. That efficiency matters. That 1 second, you never know. But yeah, Jay, what about you?
Yeah, I
Put
love
it
this
in
movie a
window.
whole lot, in case people couldn't tell. I love saxophone, I love jazz. I'm a Louisiana boy at heart, and jazz is imprinted on my soul as well as the blues in general. Yeah, not a whole lot to say that I didn't really say. I know I say that so often in these final thoughts, but I think that the cast of characters was fantastic. I loved some of the like recurring characters, like the guy who ran to their first performance. Like I love them all showing up at the end. Like the tofu shop owner, the old man, all them. That was cool. A lot of cool foreshadowing in this movie that I noticed on my second watch through. And overall, I think that this is a movie like it goes right up there with like when I was talking about like War in the Pocket, even though War in the Pocket's not a movie, it's kind of similar length of something that you can show somebody who has like no interest in anime at all, and they would probably enjoy it as long as they're like somebody who's like open minded about like all of it, obviously. So I think for like in terms of like making me want to pick a saxophone back up and being able to show people this, and just in terms of how beautiful a movie it is, I gave this a 9.5 on AniList. I'm gonna round up to a 10 for Watch Club.
9.
10.5. Got it.
Pat, you have the
Round up.
opportunity to make this the highest rated movie or show we've ever watched.
Yeah, like everyone else has said, this is a very, very good movie. Very enjoyable, very easy to watch as well. As much as I was complaining earlier about the animation, I wouldn't say that that really affected my score or enjoyment of the movie, but it's just again it bothered me. It was annoying and just confused me more than anything. I do love jazz, and I loved playing jazz growing up. I really liked theme of this movie or the vessel for the story that it was trying to tell, but I didn't really sit back at any point, like including the end, and I was never truly like blown away, I guess, by it, which usually is what it takes for me to give a show a 10 or even a 9 most of the time. Like it really, I want it to like affect me or make me think about something. And I didn't feel particularly wowed by any of the three guys' stories. They were all really good, though. They were all very interesting. So I'm going to be giving this an 8 for now. I've bounced between an 8 and a 9 twice because initially I said 8, then I moved up to a 9. Now I think I'm solidly 8 because looking at some of the other shows I've given that high score to, it just I don't think I'm gonna be thinking about this movie a month from now, let alone a week from now. I mean, now if someone asks me, I'm gonna tell them to go watch it and that it's very good, but I just wasn't really as personally affected by the movie or impacted by it. So yeah, 8 from me, which brings our average between the 5 of us to a 9.2 out
Damn.
of 10.
Fourth highest show, I believe.
It's up there. Yep.
Third highest.
I think we have a 9.28 on something.
We have
Disappearance of Haruhi has a 9.28.
Ah,
So this is
So this
just below.
is we like jazz. Kids on the Slope had a 9. So this is between Tokyo Godfathers and the Disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya.
In good company.
Very good company indeed. And it deserves it, I think, too. Well, that wraps up Watch Club for specifically Blue Giant, not Blue Period.
We can watch Blue
Jesus
Period
Christ.
next time.
Yeah.
For our horror show.
Yeah.
We'll watch some kids paint.
Yeah. Miles, what are we watching for 2 weeks from now for Watch Club?
Absolutely. In third place, we have Dangers of My Heart, Season 2, earning its first legacy point. In second place, Rakugo Shinju, earning its 5th legacy point. Let me take notes before I forget to write this stuff down. And then we will be watching Girls Band Cry.
Hell yeah.
So more music. It has the honor of going after a show with a very similar theme that we rated as our third highest show ever.
I'm sure that the CGI in Girls Band Cry will be highly rated.
It's
Yes,
very well animated. It is a very well animated show.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, well, we will
I
certainly
sense some
see.
sarcasm there.
No, it is legit a good animated show.
I do agree, actually.
It's just in
I like
CG.
the way it looks.
Yeah.
Entire thing is CG though.
Yeah.
So that might help you or not. It's hard to pull a contrast when it's all like that.
Right. That's fair. That does make it different from this.
Yeah.
In my opinion, at least. But sweet. All right. So we'll be watching Girls Band Cry, whatever. I think people are very excited about that, so that's fun. But yeah, so then we'll be nominating now for what we'll be watching on October 21st. So that's our little spooky episode.
Spooky season, baby.
Yeah, it's where the white girls are coming out with the pumpkin spices and
they're already out.
No,
in
those are
September.
It's me. I'm a white girl.
Oh, I am too. Me too. But they get spooky. They really start to haunt you, right? So, by that point of the year, I don't know. We're just yapping. But yeah, so we're nominating horror adjacent, spooky, whatever kind of shows, and I hope you all came prepared. Miles, I'm gonna put you on the spot.
You go to myanimelist.net. You click anime search. You go genre horror, sort by score. You realize really quickly anime doesn't do horror super well. Some shows we've watched like a lot of the top shows, like Higurashi is in like the top 20, and all y'all fuckers hated that. But there is one thing that stands above the rest. Something that is near and dear to my heart. Something that won Anime of the Year.
Oh, Devilman Crybaby.
Something that brings joy to me.
Did you have an existential crisis from watching the show?
I did. And that, of course, is Devilman Crybaby, which I will be nominating.
Good choice. Good choice.
Very good choice. Kat, what about you?
I, on the other hand, am my favorite horror, my favorite anime horror we've already watched, and it is very highly rated. That's Perfect Blue. Can't nominate that. What I will nominate is the most popular horror thing that I have never seen, That's Tokyo Ghoul.
You stole my fucking show. I have a backup. I have a backup, but that's
I
funny.
can't believe I have two co-hosts who looked at Tokyo Ghoul and were like, "Yeah,
I
let's
wanna watch
fucking
that."
watch this."
I heard the first
did.
season's fine.
It's not.
I-
It's not
I'm
fine.
not taking your word for it.
Okay, you should.
You're not taking the word.
The guy who hates fun. No.
It is a extremely popular show. It's gonna be a pretty good episode.
I scored this. It was like maybe the 7th anime that I watched, and I gave it a 6. I still had newbie glasses on at that point. Anyways, let's watch Tokyo Ghoul.
Or not. It's all up to our voters.
I will say it's fun enough. Like it'll be fun. Show sucks.
Sure. Yeah. There you go. Exactly. There's the miles we know. Pete, what about you? What have you got?
Well, I was
Or
on
do you need
nominated.
some time?
No, I always bring a backup. Always bring a backup. This is a show that's been on my plan to watch for years. I've heard so many mixed things about it, but it's done by Wit, and I'm a big fan of Wit outside of my dear friend Nokotan. Other than that, Wit's a very good studio. I'm gonna nominate Kanabari of the Iron Fortress.
What the fuck is okay?
It's do you know what Snowpiercer is?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the
Yes.
train movie.
Yeah, it's anime. It's anime
Yeah.
Snowpiercer, from what I've been told.
I think I almost nominated this one time, or maybe I did even nominate it one time.
Kanabari.
Yeah, Kabanari.
Abanari. Wait. Okay.
Calamari.
Katamari
Yeah.
Damacy, or whatever it's called.
Mhm.
I have a
The one where
Japanese
they
copy of that on my
roll.
shelf.
All right. Jay, what about you?
All right, Pat, what are you nominating?
Uh,
Are you nominating High School of the Dead?
no, I'm back. I'm back. Sorry. I was, because I was like, damn, I really don't watch horror. Every horror show that I saw that I was
I'm
like,
not going to take it from you because that was my
Please don't.
secondary
Thank
pick.
you.
That was my secondary
you.
pick. So okay, cool. I wanted you to nominate it anyway. I'm
Yeah.
going to nominate the movie Vampire Hunter D.
Oh,
There you
this
go.
is nice to Cat, right? Someone had this for
Shark Tank.
Shark Tank.
Yes, I believe Kat has to watch it for Shark Tank.
Did
This
I
is
make
the-
him? No, I made
Yes.
him watch. I
Yeah.
wanted him to watch Bloodlust. Bloodlust
Is-
is a different movie.
No, I'm
They're
almost
the
certain.
same
it's-
movie.
Yeah, it's Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust.
Is this the one from 2000 that you're thinking of?
There's two Vampire Hunter D movies.
Okay.
There's a 1985 and a 2000.
Which
I'm
one are
talking
you
about the
thinking?
1985 one.
Okay.
Perfect. All right. And yeah, Jay pointed it out. I'm nominating something done by Studio Madhouse, something also very close to my heart, because I think that the show is so fascinating to just like take a step back from, and then enjoy for the absolute chaos that it is. It's a zombie show, which in Japan is I guess in anime / their culture, it's very uncommon to have stories around it. It's unapologetically what it is, and I think that is what makes it so fun and why it's so highly rated for me, even though it screams a show that I would hate. God, I wish that the manga would continue. Obviously, it never will because the mangaka passed away, but it is a really, really fun ride, and I think that would also, and it's also a well thought out show too. So let's do High School of the Dead. That would be really fun to watch. I would love to hear everybody's opinions on it, especially because I don't. Jay, I assume you have if you were nominating it, but has anyone else here even seen it?
I've seen
No, I
it
haven't seen
twice.
I haven't seen
Yes, that is my vote. Yeah, I've watched it like 3 times because, like, once as a stupid horny kid.
Yep.
Once as like was it good?
An
And then-
intellectual.
yeah, well, not even an
Horny
intellectual,
adult.
but yeah, well, yeah. No, that was the 3rd time. No, yeah,
I was
Okay,
watching
yeah.
it
like
as a quad.
no, but it was like, oh, was it actually good or was I stupid? Like, like just a stupid horny kid, like with all right, I guess I'm outing myself here. Cat Planet Cuties. I watched that when I was like 14 years old and I thought it was the shit, like, that show sucks. Holy fuck, that show sucks. But I was a dumb kid that didn't know any better. But yeah, and then the 3rd time I watched it, I was like, oh yeah, my God, this is really, really, it's clever too at times. Watch it. Please vote for it. I haven't won in a while too, and it's starting to make me feel sad. Not to cry out like in a pity vote kind of way right now, but I would like to win one for once, you know. You guys don't like Princess Principal for some reason. It's like a
I've
really
voted for it
unpopular
every
show. I appreciate it. No, Kat, I know it does get votes, just not enough.
The thing is, we have fans now, and when we did pre-pre, we didn't have fans, and so
no, it makes sense. Yeah, so no one has seen the pre-pre episode either, and also that show is only popular in Japan, right? So like where we probably have the lowest listener demographic, of course, too. So
It's
it
like
makes
our
sense.
fourth highest.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's like our fourth highest.
What the fuck? Where are my Japanese listeners
Like,
at? Vote
like
for
pre-pre.
pre-pre.
Like 3% of our listeners are located in Japan.
No, dude,
That's
super
still
high
pretty
number.
low, but yeah,
Well,
no,
it's
fair
because the
enough.
United States is like 74%.
Well, of course, and then what?
Canada's too.
Johnny and Cosette are like the second highest. Sweet. All right, yeah. Vote for High School of the Dead, please, to make me happy. You know, that'd be cool.
Sorry, I actually have one thing. I wasn't necessarily mistaken, but Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust is actually just like a remastered, better version of the original 1985 movie. So I would actually like to just nominate that instead. So Kat doesn't have to watch both of them.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
What a kind soul. But yeah, I guess
And
that
he
wraps
can
up
if he
our.
wants to, though.
Probably won't.
Yeah, I didn't think so. But I was trying to throw the Vampire Hunter D fans a bone.
I'm gonna be real with you.
Keep it real.
One's good enough for me, buddy.
I'm not doing that shit. Hand on the shoulder.
Yeah, like all right, I think we're starting to get a bit silly, so let's wrap it up there. Thank you. That's all for Watch Club. Thank you for listening, and Pete, take it away.
Yeah, if you want to support us, the best way to do so, like, comment, subscribe, leave a review on whatever platform you're watching or listening to us on. If you want to vote for Watch Club, you can join our Discord or leave your top 3 in like the YouTube comments or something like that, and your vote will count. So if you're unfamiliar with how that works, that's how it works. Next week, we will be wrapping up the summer season and doing our review. So we'll be talking about every show except for Oshinoko season 2, which won't be finished by the time of recording, but everything else is on the table. I can't wait to talk shit about Alia. Miles can't wait to talk shit about Nokotan. I'm not sure what Cosette's gonna talk shit about, but I'm sure she's got something on her plate. So
Cosette is too kind of a human for us.
Don't take her too lightly. She's got a fire burning in her soul, and she's got.
I'm not taking her lightly. I just think we're bad people.
Oh, we're terrible people. Yeah. She's definitely the yin to our yang in terms of seasonal reviews. But then we also get to talk about Dead Demons, which I can't wait to have a full-on discussion. That's probably going to take up half the episode. So can't wait for that. Otherwise, if you're here for Watch Club in 2 weeks, we will see you for what some people are considered anime of the year for 2024, and that is Girls Band Cry. Thanks, and we'll see you then. Peace!
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.